Welcome back to RFO Big Guns 20, a decade of revelation. Mansfield, Ohio. It's time for the professional portion of the card. I'm Ryan Cavanaugh. I'm joined by my partner, champ John Sturmack. And noise in the back is the request for personnel, judges, officials to come ringside for the final three professional fights on this card. And we've got a good one right away. Greg Spearman, a true veteran on the amateur circuit, making his professional debut, taking on Kenny Locsei, 1-0 as a pro, and also quite an established amateur career.
Absolutely, and Greg Spearman comes in here, 3-fight win streak, then decides to make the decision to go pro. So that's impressive. He's doing well. A TKO, referee stop, submission, submission. So guillotine choke, rear naked choke, and a referee stoppage from strikes. That is the 3-fight win streak he is on. He last fought in May of 2016 and now looks to make his professional debut. I've had the opportunity to see him before, and he is absolutely impressive.
Great.
So it looks like we're about ready for action, and Mr. Cavanaugh, send it up to Jake.
Jake Digman, take it away.
The following contest is a professional bout in the RFO featherweight division, and it is brought to you by ShootItMMA.com. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Greg Spearman.
Greg Spearman, it is very rare when you get a chance to sit cage side and call the fights with somebody who has firsthand personal experience of being in the cage with one of the fighters on the card, and that's exactly the case here. Greg Spearman, back at Big Guns 5, fought, and I will point out, lost to my partner, John Sturmack.
He was one heck of a tough cookie, I'll tell you that much. I had the opportunity to fight him for the RFO Bantamweight title, and boy, what a crew we had. We had Greg Spearman versus myself for the title. Waiting in the wings is none other than the now famous, or perhaps even infamous, Cody No Love Garbrandt. So with this, I know this gentleman very, very well, and I'll tell you what, he hits with a ton of power. I did not like his power whatsoever because it hurt.
I had a chance to talk with Greg before the fight, and he's super excited to be facing someone from Strong Style. He understands the camp, and he knows how prepared his opponent will be, and he says his preparation matches that of his opponent, Kenny Locsei. Interesting, I asked him my famous question. In a perfect world, you make that walk, they ring that bell, the fight starts, how do you want it to end? He said the same way every fighter does, by knockout.
Yeah, absolutely, why not? He is a tough cookie. One of the things, though, I want to see what evolved, the reason I was able to get the decision over him was truly on the ground. He was incredibly fast. That's the one thing I remember about him. We came out, we were, throwing out feeler jabs. He wasn't throwing out feeler jabs. I was throwing out feeler jabs. He was looking to rip my head off. He was incredibly quick, but like I said, the way I was able to get the advantage of him was on the ground, and I'm anxious to see from, a number of years ago, 6 years ago, am I that old?
Greg Spearman takes the walk in the cage. We'll talk about your age in a minute. We first send it to Jake to bring out our next fighter.
And his opponent, making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Kenny Locsei.
Kenny Locsei from Strong Style Fight Team. We take a look at the tail of the tape, John. What stands out?
Pretty evenly matched up. Kenny Locsei, 1-0 as a professional. That could play a difference in the sense that Kenny Locsei's been in those 5-minute rounds. He understands, you want to say, oh, what's the big difference? 3 minutes, 5 minutes? That is huge, especially when you have trained as an amateur for 3-minute rounds and all of a sudden you've got an additional 2 added on. And plus, not only did Kenny Locsei experience those 5-minute rounds, he experienced them 3 times, winning a decision.
And we know about Kenny Locsei, his wrestling background at John Carroll. I spoke to him before this fight. He said his hands are much improved and he wants to keep the fight standing. He too is looking for the knockout. So we have, at least on paper and through conversations with the fighter, what should be an outstanding stand-up fight.
Well, you never think you would say this because you always say we look forward to the professional fights. This is what you really come in for. these guys have a lot to live up to because the amateur portion of this card has been lights out. So very rare do you ever say, hey, the professionals, you better match the intensity and excitement of the amateurs.
That's certainly the case. I had a chance to talk to Scott Corbin, the matchmaker, during our intermission, and I told him with complete honesty, this is the best card, best amateur card I've ever been a part of, top to bottom. And you know, you've done hundreds of shows, and I'm sure you would probably share the same sentiments.
You know, it's for the fans at home that are watching this, it's not hyperbole. We're not just trying to pump up RFO. This amateur card was astounding.
And I expect there's Pablo Castro, Marcus Marinelli, and the rest of the Strong Style crew. I expect Greg Spearman and that man, Kenny Locsei, to kick the pro portion off in the same way and keep this ball of energy inside the arena here in Mansfield, Ohio, rolling.
Absolutely.
Kenny Locsei looks a little like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Now if he could just start smack talking, then he'd fit right in.
Locsei heads into the cage. We send it into the cage. The one and only Jake Digman with the official introductions.
The following contest is a professional bout in the RFO featherweight division, and it is brought to you by ShootItMMA.com, official photographer of the RFO. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Sandusky, Ohio. He weighed in at 141 pounds. Representing Sandusky, Judah Kwan, making his professional debut. Please welcome Greg Scarecrow Spearman. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Willowick, Ohio. He weighed in at 144.5 pounds. Representing Strong Style Fight Team with a professional record, 1 win, 0 losses. Please welcome Kenny Locsei. This bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. When the action begins, your referee is the Dr. Todd Augusta.
Greg Scarecrow Spearman in the black, Kenny Locsei in the white, Dr. Todd Augusta. There he is, the third man in the cage. Ryan Cavanaugh along with John Sturmack. Fighters touch gloves.
You know, something to keep in mind early as this fight gets going. Spearman is fighting up a weight class. He normally is a 135er, bantamweight. He's now fighting at featherweight at 145, and that it shows that he weighed in at 141.
Kenny Locsei certainly looks like the much bigger fighter in the cage. Locsei wanted to test his striking, opens up right away with a lot of body kicks. Spearman happy to oblige, to return the favor. Inside leg kick by Greg Spearman.
Oh, I remember those. That's one thing he hasn't changed his game on. Those inside leg kicks were brutal, and he landed them with incredible speed.
Very fast fighter, Spearman. He's going to have to use that as Locsei has a size advantage, being the bigger fighter. Left just misses the haircut.
I was going to say, Spearman wanted to end this fight early.
Good outside leg kick by Greg Spearman.
Spearman's going to need to keep his hands up more with the training at Strong Style that goes on. Those guys, they know hands up, chins down. That's the rule. And Spearman's really endangering himself if he keeps his hands down. And I think he's got Locsei hurt.
There's a knee. Locsei with a big right to Spearman. And a 1-2, and Spearman's throwing back. Neither fighter showing any ill effects from the exchanges early in this fight. Scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Ooh, good 1-2 by Locsei. The left connects, just misses with the right, and Spearman fires back.
And here comes, and this is where Locsei's John Carroll wrestling background is going to come into play. He's going to be able to take him down.
Takes the single, Locsei on top of Spearman. Spearman looking very relaxed right in front of our broadcast position. Locsei knee on belly into mount. It's so difficult to get someone like Kenny Locsei off you when he's mounted you.
And in the professionals, they weigh in the day before, so Kenny Locsei, he's had plenty of time to excuse me, the rules have changed. I apologize. Day of professional weigh-ins. Kenny Locsei still the bigger man.
And Spearman doing a good job of hiding his face, meaning he's showing the back of his head to Kenny Locsei, not allowing any opportunity for legal strikes. But Locsei right now is blanketing Greg Spearman. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes to work for Kenny Locsei.
Spearman's able to get back to full guard, which is very, very impressive, especially from a mount position.
Locsei looking for a big elbow.
And he's doing a good job. He's got Spearman up against the cage. He's pressing him in, controlling his hips. Spearman wants to get out from under there. He's given up full guard, and now he's able to get into half guard, trying to get back to that full guard position, but he's got to get off that cage.
Locsei looking for a head and arm choke. Spearman fighting it, trying to get his arm back, and he does. You can see the composure of the veteran Greg Spearman.
Spearman comes in here with 11 amateur fights.
The hours Locsei has logged in wrestling rooms. This is a very familiar position for him. Spearman doing his best to get back to his feet.
He's trying to work for a guillotine. I don't think he's going to be able to do it from this position.
But he may use that to allow himself some space and room to get up.
Which right now I'm thinking Dr. Augusta might just say, you know what, guys, enough of this hugging. Let's get up and fight.
And now it's Locsei looking for the choke. And Spearman frees his head. We're inside a minute in round number 1.
We're just going to have to wonder how patient Dr. Augusta is going to be before he stands these two up.
Well, he's certainly taking a good look.
Locsei does a great job of trapping the arm of Spearman, but Spearman gets out of it very quickly.
And once again, Locsei moves to mount.
He's got full mount here. And
Got him
Spearman
up against the
gives
cage.
up his back, and that choke looks deep, and we may have a win.
Locsei's got a choke on. Spearman's fighting it. Spearman's fighting it. Staying calm. Oh, and he's thinking about it. He taps out. Kenny Locsei gets the first round submission via rear naked choke. What a tough fighter, Greg Spearman. Kenny Locsei moves to 2-0.
2-0 as a professional. Impressive debut by Greg Spearman, but just not enough. Greg Spearman clearly came to fight. He was not intimidated, but in the end, when Locsei got that choke in, there was nothing to do. And as somebody who now lives in Willowick, Ohio, I got to tip my hat to Kenny Locsei, and hopefully I don't run into him at Giant Eagle because he's a bad man.
Take a look at this, John. Walk us through how Locsei got it done.
Locsei is beautiful technique. As soon as he got to mount, he started raining down blows. Spearman gives up his back, and Locsei wasted no time putting on that rear naked choke. He didn't even have the full back. He didn't have his back fully taken, and still was able to finish the fight. That's a testament to his skill and the training he received at Strong Style Mixed Martial Arts.
There's only one thing left to do. That's send it to Jake Digman and make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Todd Augusta calls a stop to the action at 4 minutes and 40 seconds of the first round, declaring your winner by rear naked choke submission, Kenny Locsei!
Here with your winner, Kenny Locsei. Nice rear naked choke, brother. He kind of came at you a little more aggressive than I thought he was going to. Did that surprise you?
No, honestly, I saw he comes out quick. He's got a tank on him. This time he's, man, I trained with Ty a few times, tough kid, and he beat him, so that says a lot, honestly.
What do you got to say to all your fans that came all this way to watch you do your thing, man?
Man, you guys' support is unreal, man. I could stand here and cry how much you guys mean to me, man. All my friends, family, my baby girl, Ella. I love her so much. Hey, I got a question. Who is next?
That's a great question, man. Let's hear it for your winner, Kenny Locsei. He's a brand new daddy. If you see his little baby out there, it's so proud of that.